In this video we're going to see how we can take some data and create a betting system from scratch, or look to improve an existing method that you may already be using. So input your data into the spreadsheet. It can cover odds, weight, or any kind of numbers or text type data. Then go to an Analyse sheet and analyse each individual part of that to get the best out of it. And then once you've done that, the spreadsheet will list the rules that you have created, and there you will have either your improved method or a brand new method. Okay, let's have a look at the spreadsheet. Now here we are in the data input sheet. Now I've got horse racing data in here, but you can put anything you like in. You can analyse football or anything you like. Okay, so input your details of what you're betting on in column A, and some win or lose odds that you bet on. And for the result, if you hit a loser, put in a 0. If you hit a winner, put in a 1. And then you can analyse anything you like here. Now there's 4 columns there for analysing numbers, and another 4 columns here for analysing anything that's to do with text. Now you can type anything you like in there. I've shortened things like firm going or good going, and race type I've put handicap HC and stakes ST in this example, and that this race course might be a previous race course where the horse ran. I've put AS for Ascot in for those and things like that. You could put the whole name in, the whole of Ascot if you wanted. Okay, and then at the end there you can analyse weight if you want, stones and pounds, English weight. And as you input all your data down here, up at the top here is a brief summary of what you've been doing, your total races so far, number of winners, and the winning strike rate, the shortest odds that you put in so far, and the longest odds. Okay, so once you've done that, you've got put a load of data in. You can then go to an Analyse sheet and analyse your data and get the best out of each part of it. You don't have to put all of these in. You can just analyse the odds if you want, so you would just delete all those others and just analyse your odds and get the best out of those for your winners and losers that you hit. Right, I've put some data into the sheet, just 40 races, and if you wanted to clear the spreadsheet before you start putting your data in, just left click and drag down to highlight everything you want to delete, then press your delete key. There we are. Once it's deleted, you can then go ahead and input your new data. So you put your names of your horses in, and your odds, and win or lose, number of runners, and any other details you want to put in. So we'll just undo that and put them all the data back in. There we are. Okay, so there's the name of our horses, and there's our odds, win or lose, and we're going to analyse that with the number of the runners and the type of race. Now these other headings, we don't need those at the moment, but so we can delete those, but I'll leave them in for the time being so that you can see them in the analysis sheet. So we'll analyse each part of our data and see if we can get the best out of the odds and the number of runners and the type of race combined, either stakes or handicap. See if we can improve on these existing results. Once you've got your data in your data input sheet, you can come here into the Analyse sheet, and in here you find a section for each part of data that you put in. This one is for looking at the number of runners, and you can put in an upper limit and a lower limit, and you can bring up the races above and below those 2 limits. This has brought up 32 races, and from that we can see the number of winners, the number of losers, our longest winning run, longest losing run, and the profit we would make if we put a £1 stake on every one of those races that qualified between those 2 limits. And below there's a graph that shows the progress of those stakes. And up at the top there we've got our percentage winning strike rate, and this section was for looking at the number of runners. there's a section over on the left there for looking at different age groups, and below that some more number inputs, one for the distance of the races in furlongs, betting forecast, and below that we have sections for text inputs. We've got the going over on the left if we were looking at that, and here we have our race types, and you can see there I've just entered ST for stakes, and if we put HC in there for handicaps, it'll bring up all the results with handicaps and stakes races. So we've got all our 40 races brought up because we haven't put any other type of race in. And if we delete the handicaps, you'll see that the profit changes from £7.21 because we're just looking at stakes races now, and it goes up, and it goes up to £9.43 if we just bet on the stakes races alone and not the handicaps. And further down there's another section for some more text inputs, and below that we've got a section for weight. Input your upper and lower limits of your weight there, and then once you've analysed each individual part, they're all pulled together at the bottom to show them all combined. They show the winners and losers, your winning strike rate, longest winning run, losing run, and the profit that you've made if you had bet within those limits that are now showed on the right there. So if we'd applied the limits on the odds, the number of runners and the type of race that we've been working on above, we'd bet between those odds in races with those number of runners between those two numbers, and just in this example just in stakes races. So if we were to apply those limits to our bets, that would be our winning strike rate. If we bet £1 on each of our runners within those limits, that would be the profit that we would make, and we would have that number of winners and losers. That would be our longest winning run, our longest losing run, and you can see the graph below showing the profit or loss. So we'll just go back a little bit now and get rid of these headings that we're not interested in, and just to make things a little bit clearer. So if we just delete these headings that we're not interested in, just highlight them all first, delete them. Those headings will disappear from the analysis sheet, and we'll be just left with our odds, number of runners and type of race to look at, all nice and tidy. Back in the analysis sheet again, here we are looking at the number of runners, and you see over on the left there that heading has disappeared, and down below the next two headings have disappeared as well, and there's our text heading, there's our race type, but the other heading has gone away from the left there, and it's all cleared up all the way down the sheet. So down at the bottom, with all our filters above combined, all we see now are the odds, the number of runners and our race type, which makes things a little bit clearer what our rules are for our betting. Okay. So by analysing one piece of data at a time to come up with a set of rules, we may be able to improve on some results and come out with a bigger profit. So set your limits, see what happens, and take it from there. Okay. So maybe when you've analysed your first bit of data, the odds, you can move down the spreadsheet and analyse a second piece of data, and maybe move down further down and you analyse a third or fourth piece of data, and eventually go down to the bottom of the spreadsheet where they're all pulled together, and you can see the set of rules that are built up from each individual piece of analysis that you've done on your data above. And there you have the rules for your betting. Okay.